Jon Jones is known for being an all-time great mixed martial artist, but you could also view him as a great magician too, known for his disappearing acts against USADA agents, or even his magical performances he seems to have after weekends of cocaine and alcohol abuse. Not to mention the curse that he seems to be placing on his opponents as of recent. Bones himself is no stranger to bad luck, and it seems to be that some of that bad luck kind of rubs off on his opponents after they face off in the octagon. For this video I wanted to take a look at the Jon Jones Curse, and if you clicked on this video you may have an idea of what I talk about when I say the Jon Jones Curse, or you may have clicked on this video wondering what in the world is the Jon Jones Curse. It seems to be, for whatever reason, no matter how good or bad of a performance opponents have against Jon Jones, for whatever reason after they face him they can never seem to pull it together. Their careers usually go into a rut and they seem to go on multiple fight losing skids. Now I can't say this for all of his opponents, but if you look at a lot of his opponents, especially ones as of recently, that seems to be very true. A great example of the Jon Jones Curse would be Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson, the first time he ever faced off with Jones, going into that fight had a record of 15-1. So almost 8 years ago he had a record of 15-1, and since then he's only won 3 fights and lost 6 more. Went from being pretty much a world beater to an on and off fighter, really kind of towards the latter of just being an off fighter, with one of those losses actually coming to Jones in a rematch, and in that fight Jones completely shut him out. It was nothing like the first fight. Jones pretty much had his way with him, took him down and just beat the snot out of him. Moving on to our second example would be Thiago Santos. Going into Thiago's first fight with Jon Jones, he was riding a 4-fight win streak with notable wins over the current champion Jan Blachowicz, Jimmy Manoa, Kevin Holland, and Eric Anders, which not a single one of those fights are pushovers, and like I said, literally one of those guys is the current champ right now who just beat Israel Adesanya. And in his fight with Jones, he actually had a really good fight. That's another fight where a lot of people think that Santos actually beat Jones. He actually went to a split decision with pretty much 2 blown out knees, which is very impressive, put Jones in a lot of danger, and really kind of showed that maybe one of the weaknesses to Jones is to kick him in the calves, kick his skinny legs, and that's really a good way to take away a lot of his movement, and then you can start throwing power at him. But ever since that very close fight with Jon Jones, he's been 0-3, pretty much on a 2-fight skid since then, having lost to Alexander Rakic and Glover Teixeira. And really ever since then, Santos has looked flat in his last 2 performances. And I don't know if maybe his confidence got knocked from the fact of just losing to Jon Jones after being on a 4-fight win streak, or maybe he just doesn't have the confidence in his ability because his knees aren't the same. You know, he pretty much had double knee surgery, blew out both of his knees, and that kind of does a lot to your confidence and what you really could do, and you're afraid, you know, to pull a trigger on certain things because you may re-injure yourself. And then moving on to our third example, we have Anthony Smith. Now Anthony Smith did not have an amazing performance like the other people I mentioned before, but going into the Jones fight, he was actually 3-0. He was undefeated at light heavyweight, hadn't lost up until that point, and in that fight he just didn't look good. It didn't look like he was ready to pull the trigger. Fight went on, and he pretty much ended up losing the fight, as we all know. And then after that fight he went on to fight Alexander Gustafsson, who he went on to beat Alexander Gustafsson, and then fought 2 of the same opponents that we just talked about with Santos. He fought Alexander Rakic and Glover Teixeira, and both those guys absolutely beat the snot out of Anthony Smith. It wasn't even close. The Teixeira fight was a straight beatdown. Literally Glover was beating the teeth out of Anthony's mouth. It was insane. And then the fourth and final example is Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes put up a phenomenal fight, probably the best fight out of anybody who's ever faced Jon Jones. Believe it or not, after all the things I said, I actually am kind of a Jon Jones fan. I like watching him fight, and I think he's a really good fighter. But I mean, this fight definitely, I'm going to say Jones won that fight just because I'm a fan, but I think out of anybody you could say beat Jon Jones, you could probably say Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes was undefeated going into that Jones fight, and since then he's only had 1 fight since then, and that was against Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight championship again, which was very interesting too because a lot of people thought Reyes was going to win that fight very easily. Everyone was saying that Reyes was pretty much the uncrowned champ. He beat Jon Jones and he should be champion right now, so really he's defending his belt and all this stuff, and he really didn't show up in that fight. I mean, it was a good fight, but I think Blachowicz pretty much shut him out for the 2 or 3 rounds that the fight went, and I don't think he really looked as good as he looked against Jon Jones. It'll be interesting to see how Reyes performs in his next bout. I think he was scheduled to fight Yuri Prochazka, but I'm not sure if that fight fell through or not, so we're going to see whoever he fights next and how he performs. If he does lose again, I think it'll just be another name to the Jon Jones Curse and more proof that this might actually be a real thing. I don't know, but if you kind of go back and just look at the record of people that Jon Jones has beat and then look at their records after they fought Jon Jones, it's kind of shaky. People kind of go through a little rut, and it's kind of interesting. I hope you guys did enjoy this video though. If you guys did, please be sure to drop a like, share this video if you guys found it enjoyable, entertaining, send it to someone else that would also enjoy it. If you guys have any ideas, video suggestions, things you guys want to see me do, let me know in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.